Homesteader of the Rockies, and welcome to the Susie Homesteader channel. And today we're talking about fitness, and we're going to talk about one of my favorite breakfasts, and that is some 10 grain muffins. And the reason I like these is because we're talking about whole grains, not carbohydrates, enriched or refined carbohydrates. We're talking about whole grains that contain lots of fiber, lots of trace minerals, and lots of B vitamins. Which all add up to giving you extra energy, which is kind of how you want to start out your day. And this is a great recipe to go with one of my shake recipes, which I'm going to give you after this video, for a protein shake in the morning. And that just gives you a great way to start out, of course, your most important meal of the day, which is what I tell my kids. Every morning, eat your breakfast. But this is nice because they can grab a muffin, and if they have the time to just whip up a protein shake to go with it, it's just about a completely balanced breakfast for them that will definitely get you to lunch. So this is not a gluten-free recipe, but it does lower the risk of heart disease, stroke, and type 2 diabetes. So still has lots of great benefits. And again, whole grains are derived from seeds. Seeds from like a grass-like plant. So we're not talking about like a box of cereal or some of the empty carbohydrates that for some strange reason people seem to gear towards every morning. So we want whole grains, which again adds up to lots of energy. So here is one of my favorite recipes, and it's an easy one. And all you have to do is start with this Bob's Red Mill 10 grain hot cereal. Which is another great way to use this grain as well. It goes great in the hot cereal. You can do lots of stuff with it. And then if you flip it over, it has a recipe on the back for some 10 grain muffins, which is kind of where I started with my recipe. The only thing I did do with this recipe was change a few ingredients, which you can do too if you want. And that's just because this one does have sugar and white flour in it. So if you want to stay away from some of the white products, or you have to stay away from a dairy product, maybe because you're lactose intolerant, there's lots of ways to change that out and do some different substitutions for that. So I'll give you a few ideas that you can change on this recipe if you want to. Otherwise, it's on the back of this bag, and I will also have it on my website, Susie Homesteader of the Rockies, for you. So let's just start with the first thing you want to do before you even preheat your oven. You want to put your main liquid and your 1 cup of grain cereal in a bowl to just kind of start softening up. So these whole grains are pretty hard, and you want to put like 1 cup of your grain cereal and like 1 1/4 cups of your liquid, whatever that is. This one is a buttermilk, which is kind of my favorite just because it gives it a different flavor. But again, if you need something like an almond milk or soy milk or some non-dairy product, there's lots of liquids you can use in exchange for buttermilk. But that is what the recipe calls for. So put that in a bowl and just let it stand for like 10 minutes while you're getting everything else ready. And then, mix it together a little bit and preheat your oven to 400. Go ahead and get ready to start creaming some of your other ingredients. So you're going to want to start with about 1/3 cup of butter. And then you also need 1 egg in that bowl as well. And then start adding either your sugar or your honey or whatever other kind of sweetener you decide to go with. So cream all that together in a separate bowl. And then what I like to do is mix my dry ingredients again separately before I add that to the wet ingredients. So go back to another bowl and either use a whole wheat flour, an all-purpose flour, whatever kind you like. Put 1 cup of that in a bowl with a teaspoon of baking powder, a teaspoon of baking soda, and a teaspoon of salt. So if you want to use a sifter for that, you can. Otherwise, just mix those all up together, all your dry ingredients together. Go ahead and go back and put in your wet ingredients that you just creamed together. And then last but not least, add your cereal combination that's been soaking for about 5 or 10 minutes. Depends on how fast that goes for you. So just kind of test it to make sure it's getting softer. Mix all those together. Put them in your muffin pan with a liner, which is what I like to do, just because these muffin pans are really not fun to clean out. Or grease your muffin pan and put your batter into your muffin pan and cook those for about 15 minutes. And just make sure that you do not overcook those. Otherwise, they get too crumbly and they're really messy. So if you want to add like blueberries or something to that, you can add raisins or nuts. You can put all kinds of fun stuff in that recipe. Just make sure they're kind of gooey enough though, because once you start putting in those grains, it really does, like I said, get a little bit on the crumbly side. So just kind of double check your consistency while you're, before you're getting ready to put that into your muffin pans, and you should be all set. But it is a super healthy alternative to breads and carbohydrates and cereals and other kinds of muffins that are really not that good for you. Some muffins are really just a cupcake in disguise. So be very careful about what you choose for your complex carbohydrates for breakfasts. So there you go. If you have any questions, come and see me on my website, Susie Homesteader of the Rockies, and I will have a complete supply list for you and a shopping link to go with it. So look for my next video on a great protein shake that you can use with this in the mornings for the beginning of your day. We'll see you later. Bye-bye. So let's get started. Subscribe to the Susie Homesteader channel, and we'll see you there. Bye-bye.